the voice of health, freedom, and liberty, Robert Scott Bell.
Picture this. Phil Keene, an active professional photographer, non-smoker, married for 21 years. One day while shaving, he notices a lump the size of an M&M in his neck.
With stage 4 throat cancer.
What went through your head?
Thinking of all the things I'd missed out on or that I didn't do with my children and my wife.
We start today's show with a news report from the mainstream news, ABC News, in fact. That is something that's got me outraged today. By the way, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Super Don, you're there.
I'm here.
Did you see this piece on ABC News? And I've got it linked up at the blog, of course. 16 million Americans have oral HPV, human papillomavirus.
Wow. 16 million.
16 million. Now, if that weren't bad enough, and we're going to go through this, I just played the opening there just so you could hear where this was set up. Okay, here they go. They set the stage. Oh, my gosh, a guy finds out he has this lump in his throat, and it's related to HPV. Where are they going with this? Now, some of my listeners are very adept at figuring this stuff out. But man, oh man, oh man, this outraged me because this is what we call an example of pure pharmaceutical vaccine propaganda parading as news. Let's continue with this news story as we kick off today. By the way, we will do some debate coverage. Those of you who are anxious and looking forward to all our political healing here, you will be satiated, I promise you. Don and I are going to cover last night's debate, and there's some good stuff, especially the Hispanic language ghetto stuff. Did you hear about that? I know that got your goat there, Don.
It was one of the first debates so far that had me yelling, screaming, and throwing things at the TV.
Okay, so we've got a lot to look forward to with Super Don as we analyze last night's debate in Jacksonville, Florida. But let's get back to that ABC News story of this man supposedly with this HPV.
Thinking of all the things I'd missed out on or that I didn't do with my children and my wife.
Phil's case is one of 6,700 HPV-positive throat cancers this year, a number that's increased 50% since 2004.
Okay, so 6,700 new cases of throat cancer. It's on the increase. You hear the fear-mongering at the beginning. I mean, men, pay attention. There's something here. And okay, we got this innocent guy, a good-looking guy. He's got kids. Suddenly he's telling you, oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of all the things I would miss. And of course, it's tugging at the emotional heartstrings. Now, as you're listening to this, you got to understand, this is slick. This is incredibly well produced. When I talk about the hypnosis, the mass hypnotic trance that it lulls people into, there's a trick here. This is black magic, and this is how they play it. So they now set the stage of, oh my gosh, this could get you too.
Doctors say there's something going on. More and more of us exposed to the human papillomavirus through oral sex.
Okay, look, they're going right to, the titillation factor of, okay, this is a sexual thing, more and more, as if this stuff hasn't been going on for time immemorial. Now you suddenly have to think, wait a second, something new is happening here. Where is this thing coming from? Now I've got to worry, another sex disease. We've already diffused the whole thing about HIV and AIDS. We continue to do so because a lot of people still don't know it fully. By the way, great big event coming up, Health Freedom Expo. Liam and I got approved for a Friday night event on the dismantling of fake HIV tests, etc., and including legal strategies to get you out of it should you ever test quote-unquote positive. We'll show you legally how it's bogus bunk and it will never impact you. So anyway, here you go. A new sex disease. Everybody run. It's frightening. What are you going to do?
But can it be transmitted through saliva, by kissing, sharing a spoon? Doctors still don't know.
Okay, so right now they set the stage for, it's a mystery, right? The X-Files, where's Fox Mulder?
Robert, where have we heard this before? This is the same kind of thing I remember with the AIDS thing back in the 80s. Can you get it from sneezing on somebody? Can you get it if you think about it when you're too close to somebody?
Yep.
It was just a big mystery. Oh, my goodness.
If you rub noses like the Eskimos, will you get HPV, right? So they're setting the stage for the pandemic, the outbreak. Dustin Hoffman's coming in here. Who knows what's going to happen next? Can you get it by simply being in the same room with somebody? Again, this is fear-mongering. This is germ theory. They know exactly how to tug at your fear string, so to speak.
I had no idea that it was a thing to worry about for men.
80% of adults are routinely exposed to HPV, and almost all of our bodies fight it off.
Okay, that's where they throw you the I'm going to real quickly be truthful and honest about this. That's the throwaway. Most bodies fight it off. And that's the fact. And that's true of women and girls with the HPV as well. It's the fact that they acknowledge, but they kind of brush by it really quickly, because we now need to bring you back to the reality that, oh, well, pay no attention to the fact that we said your body can fight it off, because this is the real stuff now. We got to get to the serious.
Did he give a
stuff.
Statistic in that?
Yeah.
Did he say 80%?
Yep, 80%.
80%. Okay, that's important to remember as we go on here. 80%.
Doctors don't know why some cases develop into cancer.
Whoa! They don't know why. It's a mystery. You find the mystery. That's fear. If the doctors don't know why it develops, the fact is they don't know that it develops into cancer. But the language is they don't know why it does or it doesn't. The fact of the matter is it doesn't, but they're not going to let you know that because they want the mystery. If the doctors don't know, surely this has got to be the most frightening thing ever.
But they're learning that a virus once thought to cause cervical cancer in women is now causing throat cancer in men.
Wait. They once thought this is made up. This is fairy tale. We can say whatever we want. We're the news media. We're going to show you fancy pictures, and they show brain scan pictures here or neck scan pictures, MRI, resonance, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is high tech. They must know what they're doing.
Right.
How concerned are you about this?
It's a fast-growing problem, and what's even more concerning is that the American public is largely not aware of this.
Oh, but we're going to make you aware of it. And by the way,
until now,
they got this slick-looking doctor, good-looking guy, I guess. And by the way, does he work for the vaccine industry? Could it be that he takes money from GSK and Merck? Oh, wow. We wouldn't want that to happen and that to come out.
And men are much more at risk for throat cancer from HPV. A new report predicts that within the next 10 years, HPV-related throat cancer in men could rise by another 30%.
Okay, so the future doesn't look bright. Men, 30% more of you are going to get this throat cancer caused by HPV. Well, how do they know it's caused by HPV? Remember, go back and listen to the show that I did with Liam many, many months ago about the detection methodology through PCR. It's always these three-letter words, HPV, HIV, PCR, polymerase chain reaction, which takes a fragment of DNA mass material and amplifies it hundreds of thousands to millions of times and says, oh my gosh, looks like we have an elephant in your throat. Oh, wait, that's not an elephant. That might be the human papilloma. We don't know, but we're going to say it because, an elephant can't fit in your throat, but the human papillomavirus probably could. Maybe it does cause it because we found a fragment, we amplified it, we say it is, but it could be an old Buick. I mean, that's how broad and vague this stuff is. This is amazing.
Why? When women are carrying HPV, even if they don't have cancer, the virus may multiply to very high levels, increasing the chance of oral cancer in their partners.
Now, it may multiply. We don't know that it will, but what does a virus do? If you know anything about viruses, they explode on the scene until your immune system gets a handle on it and then clears it, which is, they admitted, most cases, and that's most cases, clear because your immune 80%? System handles it and dissipates it.
80%?
80%. Did you follow that? Now, in this case, you're going to say, explosion. So they use this language. It's going to go massive. But viruses then burn themselves out because if they kill the host, the viruses are done. And so the idea that they linger is just also nonsense in this way, that they're going to constantly explode. No, they go back. Your immune system holds it in check. But never mind, it causes everything.
The women learn they have cervical cancer.
The vaccine is only marketed to girls. Are we missing a really big opportunity here for prevention?
These vaccines are very important. They're as important as polio and rubella and mumps and all the other vaccines.
He tied this in, right? Are we missing something? What
is the word he used?
Say it.
Opportunity.
Is this you got it. You heard it, Don. See, Super Don's got his ears on. Are we missing an opportunity to market this vaccine like we marketed the polio vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella, and then created the catastrophe of neurological ailments, diseases, and autism, the spectrum, and everything else that we've identified here on the Robert Scott Bell Show, among those like Andrew Wakefield, and in our vaccine seminar about to be released with John Rappaport. Oh my gosh, could we be throwing a wrench in their ointment to promote these vaccines? The opportunity to market. Oh my gosh, that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Young kids receive.
Phil is now vaccinating his 12-year-old son, just like his daughters.
I think you've got to vaccinate your kid now. You don't want them waking up in 20 or 30 years and finding out they have stage 4 throat cancer.
You see that? This is it. You now set the stage, and this is the arc. This is the arc. Within a minute or so, they did a beautiful job of propagandizing. Here's this innocent man out of the blue, gets throat cancer. Oh my gosh, let's tie it into the HPV. It's a mystery. We'll admit some truth. Then we'll go to hyperbole. We'll exaggerate. We'll say, oh my gosh, it's on the rise. Here's a guy. It could be you, right? The men are watching. Oh, that could be me. That could be me. Now what am I going to do? Well, I think we need to take this opportunity to say, hey, market this. Hey, you need to give your little boys the shot too, not just the little girls. And the guy comes on to reinforce it, Don. He says, you know what? I am now I'm going to make sure the doctor injects my son for HPV because I don't want to happen to me what happened to him, and it's all gobbledygooked in. And by the way, guess who produces this? Madison Avenue public relation firms. They slickly put this together. This is basically a pharmaceutical advertisement. Goes to the media. The media says, hey, this is great. We got a minute, 2 minutes we can fill. We don't have to do anything. Just run it. That's how the game is played.
Yep. And how long have we been covering this HPV thing? And they have been trying time after time after time to try and justify giving boys the HPV shot. And they've come out with one statistic after another. And it was never enough to swing public opinion into vaccinating boys or getting doctors to approve the idea of vaccinating boys. They've kept coming back. The FDA keeps coming back saying, now we don't see the evidence that we should, approve this as being for boys. Now they come out with the big C word, right? Cancer, throat cancer. This is going to kill, 20% of the men and the boys in the country if we don't give the boys a shot. This is like a Hail Mary pass. No, in my opinion.
You're right. And this comes on the heels of a study that claims that there's no link between HPV vaccines and autoimmune disorders. Of course, they're never going to make the link because they don't even understand what triggers autoimmune disorders. They don't understand. So how can they say HPV doesn't? Well, we don't know what does, so it can't be HPV because that would screw up our marketing plan. And by the way, those men are concerned about this oral whatever. Gargle with silver hydrosol. Come on. It's virostatic. Boom. Done. Gargle. It's over. You want to gargle a few times a day? Fine. You knock it out. Even if your own immune system can do it, you can add a little benefit there. Simple.